everyone. Today we are on Honeywood and I'm super excited because I'm gonna be building a corn maze on my island in honor of Halloween. This will be the first speed build that I will have built, so I'm super excited to show you the results, so let's go ahead and get started. To start off, I decorated around this brick bridge that I added on the far left side of my island. I wanted this little area to look super simple, so I just added a few items like a leaf pile, a cruiser bike, and a sign pointing to the area we're going to be working at today. I wanted the corn maze to show up on my map, so I used the in-game pathing to create the initial border of the maze. Off camera, I made 4 holes, one for each of the 4 corners of the corn maze, just so I had a little guide to follow as I laid down the path. My border is 12 squares long by 12 squares wide. I also chose to use the lighter dirt path rather than the dark dirt path because I wanted the fencing that I'm gonna lay on top of it to blend in more rather than that path really just stick out from underneath. Once I made sure I liked the size of the border and the placement, I moved along to putting the actual maze together. To make my maze, I looked up a lot of photos on Google just to see some example mazes. I found an example that I kind of like, so I took that and I tweaked it to make it my own to where I would really love it. So as you can see in the beginning, I was using that dark dirt path to kind of count out the spaces to see where I wanted the insides of the maze to start. And this actually took me a lot longer than it looks like it did. I probably worked on this for about 30 minutes in real time, so yeah. There were a few times where I had something that I thought would work out and it didn't, so I had to go back and kind of tweak it a little bit more. But once I started going, I really got the hang of it and it started to come together really quickly. Initially, I wanted the maze to only have one way that you could solve it, but once I got towards the end, I realized that my maze was a little too short for that to work on the width side. So I ended up making it where you could either choose to go left or right, and either way that you choose, you will be able to exit the maze. And at first I thought it would bother me, but I really like it. I think it looks good either way. Once I got all the pathing laid down, it was super satisfying to go and check my map to see that the whole maze structure had come together. With the pathing down, it was time to take it from just 2D to 3D, and I did that by using the hay fence. There were a lot of different options I could have went with to build the maze, but I chose the fencing because I thought it was a really cute and simple way to build it. My other options were using the wheat field item, but I was really unsure if I used a lot, if it would make that part of my island laggy or not, and I definitely wanted to stray away from that. And my other option was to build cliffs as the maze walls, but I didn't really want you to see the color of the cliff walls. I just thought it might be a little off. Plus, I would have had to put something on the top, I think, to make it look nice. So I either would have had to add the hay fence or the wheat fields anyway. So I just chose to go with the hay fence. Honestly, I didn't realize how many pieces of fencing it would take to build this. I honestly thought I almost ran out at one point, but luckily I didn't because it would have taken me a lot of time to make the rest that I needed. Once I put all of the fencing down, it made me very happy to be able to walk through the maze for the first time. It was just super satisfying to me. And since that was done, it was time for me to start decorating it. I started out by decorating the maze entrance. I used the plain party lights, the spooky lantern set that had the hay on it. I added a cute little stall that I customized, and I also added this cute custom sign that says corn maze. I really think by adding the sign it ties it all together. It's just adorable to me. I also added a spooky lantern tower because I mean it can't be a Halloween themed build without some pumpkins. Next, I decorated the stall, which was one of my favorite parts. I added a register and I added a ticket to make it look like someone had just purchased one and it was sitting there on the booth for them. I also added a scarecrow next to the pumpkin in the hay because, again, it can't really be a corn maze or a Halloween theme build without a scarecrow. I started working on the maze exit next, as well as just kind of the surrounding area, the little filler stuff. I added another little arrow sign pointing out towards what I will be building in another video, the next area. And then I just started adding a bunch of trees all around the back. I tried to grab a bunch of different colored colored ones, but it was really difficult to keep up with which color was what. Also, I'm kind of starting to think that once you pick up a tree, that it will spawn a different color whenever you replant it. I'm not really sure about that, but I could have swore I picked up a lot more of the darker colored trees and I got a lot of the lighter ones. So if anybody knows, please let me know in the comments, okay? Along with the trees in the bag, I also added a corral fence. That way it would kind of block off the ocean view to make it look like it was more in a wooded area. I think it really added to the build overall. I also added a bunch of trees to the left side of the maze, again to kind of block it off from the ocean and make it look like it was in more of a wooded area. Honestly, trying to dig up all these trees was a lot of work, and I have almost completely like deforested every other area of my island just for this one build. So I'm definitely gonna have to buy some more from Nook's Cranny and get them started so that way they could be nice and pretty for fall. I also decided to add a tree next to the ticket booth because I thought it just made it a lot prettier. And then after I did that, I started making a hayride. I was super excited about this. I had saw an idea similar on Pinterest and I was like, yes, I have to do it. And I thought it was such a great idea to add it to this build because normally those two things usually go hand in hand. Where there is one, there is normally the other two. I used a hay bed for the kind of trailer for the hayride aspect of it. And then I used the tire toy seats for the tires. And I thought it looked really, really cute. And you could also sit on the tires if you want. And it kind of looks like you're riding on it. After I laid all of the hayride stuff down, I tried to play around with where I wanted a tree, and I thought I could get it a little bit closer to the beach there, but I realized I couldn't, so I had to keep moving the hayride farther and farther up. So it got a little tedious, but I eventually found a good placement for the tree and for the hayride. I just wanted there to be a gap, that way I could add a little bit more decorations around it and not just have it jam up against the tree. And honestly, it probably would have been a lot easier for me to get this little build done if I just would have fully picked up all of the items. But for some reason, I kept telling myself, it's okay, let's just keep scooting it forward. And it just was such a hassle. I went around adding a few more little touches. I added a leaf pile right next to the ticket booth. I thought it was super cute. Then I went to the exit and I added some flowers to kind of fill in the empty space. When I got by the hayride again, I added a cute scarecrow in that corner by the tree, and I added some wheat fields around it to kind of block off the view from the beach. I also added a little cricket peeking out from behind the tree. I thought it was super cute, and I know when there's hay, there are a lot of crickets, so I thought it was also very fitting for the area. I also added a little trick-or-treat pail on the hay. I hope it made it look like someone just set it down right before they went in, or even that someone could take a piece of candy. Another little touch that I added that I absolutely loved was I put a stool down behind the stall and I added a little gyroid on it to make it look like the gyroid is the one that is operating the ticket stall. I just thought it was super, super cute. I also filled in the side area with a little bit more trees as well as a windmill. And I also added a sign pointing to the beach where I just placed down a big bonfire for the moment, but I will be redecorating it later. But I wanted to make sure that I remembered the idea, so I added the bonfire. And at this point, I had pretty much decorated everything that I could think of, and I started putting down my main path. It's just a dirt path, but I really like it. I think it makes the area look super natural. Plus, I feel like it helped it really come together too. Without it, it was looking a little bare, but it looks really nice now that I've added it. But for me, pathing is really difficult, one that is not in-game. So it took me quite a bit of time to get it just the way that I wanted it. Because like I said, I wanted it to look natural and organic. And it was a little difficult at first, but I eventually got it down. I started branching the path out from the bridge over to the ticket booth that's operated by the gyroid. Then I started branching it over to the maze entrance. I wanted it to stop right as the maze started. I also put it down towards the beach. That way, you know, you're supposed to walk over there and that you could find something else to do. and eventually it will lead to the right side of the island there. I have a really fun build planned coming up, so I can't wait to get that done and to share it with you guys. After I finished the path, I added a few more custom designs. I really liked this leaf design that I found, so I put that underneath a few of the signs, and I also added it in front of the tree and added a dropped acorn in front of it. I also added a tree and a flower right next to the bridge to kind of help fill in the space there and make it look really natural and organic. And right across from that, I added a welcome sign. I thought this design was also super cute. I also added a few birds flying around the area as well as a puddle underneath one of the signs. I thought that one was super cute. Adding the bird custom designs down in front of the tractor was kind of difficult because I was really concerned about putting them down in a manner that it looked like the tractor was going to run over them. And at that point, I had pretty much finished decorating everything and I was ready to start taking some photos and giving one last little tour. Even though this is my first build on the island, I really enjoyed this. I thought it came out super cute. I loved all the details that I added and how it came together. Honestly, my favorite part of the entire build is the little gyroid there sitting in front of the corn maze, just inviting you in. I think it's super cute. Building this was super fun and I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to get my island a little bit more finished and then I can release a DA and you guys can all visit it yourselves. I'm honestly looking forward to seeing some photos of you guys when you're in the maze. I think that'll just be super cute. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this build as much as I did. It was super fun. Again, I'm gonna make a Google Doc that has the design codes in it, and I will link that at some point so that way you guys can all use them as well if you're interested. I hope I helped inspire you guys that are building a autumn themed island right now. Also, comment down below what build you think I'm gonna do next. I can't wait to see all of the guesses. I might let you guys know early, or I might not. We'll just have to see. Thank you again for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye!